What is archaeology? Archaeology is the study of human experience and culture through recovery of information by scientific method and the analysis of research findings. Surveying landscape for approximate location is typical fieldwork for archaeological sites. For UTM systems, along with cutting-edge GIS software, various other technologies are also used, and they consist of the GPS, remote sensoring, and ground-penetrating radar. Marker placement is widely implemented at an archaeological site in the measurement of strata and mapping living floors for disposition of natural versus arbitrary levels. It is also elemental in approximating grid lines for the exact provenance of potential artifacts. This is a prime example of an archaeological research technique known as water screening. Many critical findings have been recovered using this method. The size of screen is determined by the consistency of material sediment being examined. However, an ample amount of water is necessary. Much of the artifacts recovered by using this technique include flint flakes, faunal remains, charcoals, and shell midden. Even though the strata deposition may not appear archaeologically significant, the sediment material contains possible human-imposed debris. Shell midden can be examined along with surrounding strata for potentially larger artifacts linking to human experience in time and space. Here is a research team examining material for remnants pertaining to archaeological site evidence. Sifting through sediment 1/4 meter square units at a time records potential artifacts particular to its provenance. The screen, ranging from 1/4 inch to 1/16 inches in size, is critical to the level of recovery of artifacts and faunal remains. The map details historical sites and archaeological sites in the state of Oregon. The site nearest to my location is titled China Ditch. It being an historical site, let's switch our focus to the nearest archaeological site. Oregon Archaeology seeks to explore and educate us about prehistoric and historic human experiences, cultural heritage from which the findings present. Looking at the lower section of the map, the archaeological site of interest is Paisley Caves, initially discovered and researched by Luther Cressman in 1938. This is a global representation of a migration theory presented to explain human civilization at Paisley Caves. As you can see by the diagram, it strictly expresses a relationship between a migration pattern over the ice sheet 14,000 years ago to Paisley Caves, Oregon. From the inside of Paisley Cave, the opening permits the view of incoming weather, animals, or intruders to the outlying surroundings. The hillside view of Paisley Caves closely resembles geological deposition of Gate Cliff, with obvious colluvial strata along the drip line. Also, sediment deposits correspond to Eolian and Alluvian strata from the geological representation of the site. This is a view of the natural water source outlying the Paisley Cave archaeological site. Having a natural water source improves sustainability. As you can see, the vegetation looks quite sparse. This may or may not reflect the natural surroundings at the time of the earliest civilization. Paisley Caves has been theorized to have only been a temporary shelter for possible larger game hunts. Natural water source would provide a smaller scale of sustainment through water and fish supply during the hunting season. Despite Luther Cressman's initial findings from his 1938 excavation, University of Oregon's Dennis Jenkins gathered up a school of archaeological research students to dig deeper into the Paisley Cave site. In hopes of securing prehistorical remnants beyond Cressman's published findings, Jenkins led a new series of excavations. In supporting Jenkins' ongoing research of the Great Basin, the results from the excavation findings at Paisley Caves are dated to precede scientifically acknowledged prehistoric existence from the Clovis era. By looking closely at this stratigraphy from the Paisley Cave site, the exposed layers of sediment have material matching the explosion of Mount Mazama. This sediment layer firmly exhibits an absolute date to correlate any artifacts recovered from within that layer of strata. In presenting artifacts found during the Paisley Cave excavation, you will observe 4 significant pieces confirming human existence preceding the Clovis era. The scientific community recently acknowledged the research findings examined by Dennis Jenkins. By the use of radiocarbon dating, these artifacts are found to be the oldest human evidence of a civilization during the Pleistocene era in this region. Among these last 2 artifacts, perishables of this nature formed the most substantial portion of human-based assemblage from the Paisley Cave excavation. AMS dating methods was implemented in testing these delicate fibers, ranging to 12,750 calculated BP. Archaeological research has led to the discovery and evidence of early native existence in Oregon. Early civilizations used various environmental resources in determining what materials were used in tool development and manufacture. As you can see by this assemblage, the field of study has contributed to the collection of tools native to Oregon and surrounding areas. Archaeological research has vastly demonstrated significant prehistoric components from early human existence and basic survival. Oregon Archaeology's Traveling Museum is a community-based exhibit providing an opportunity for the general public to explore archaeological research findings native to Oregon and surrounding region. As you can see, each exhibit explicitly details thorough information to educate any observer as to the context of artifacts presented in each group of assemblages. The Traveling Museum displays multiple time periods of prehistoric human activity as well as native tools discovered and used by earlier civilizations in our region. The nature of archaeology can be found and explored all around us. Echoes in Time is an event sponsored by the Society of Primitive Technology, a community-based event involving learning workshops focusing on early cultivations and methods of technology, tools, and lifestyle functioning. Echoes in Time presents a holistic, encompassing approach to how humans lived by using natural resources within their environment. Echoes in Time is held annually during the month of July at the Willamette Mission State Park in Salem, Oregon. This workshop is a collection of learning experiences teaching early technology and living skills. Participants enjoy 5 days of learning a broad range of knowledge and skills from the times of our earliest ancestors into the present day era.